but there was a new concept for me, which I'm still trying to understand and get my head around and slowly understand it, is not being too emotional about your wins. So you gave the example of, like, if I had pulled out my phone and had a $500,000 increase in my stock market, I would just be, in such a good mood. But someone in, like, with Robbie or you, to be like, okay, next. So it's
I'm happy about it, but I can be like, oh, that's nice. And I'm not trying to be cute or humble or some shit. It's just like, if you're super excited, like, yay, like you won a lottery or some shit, or I didn't win that money. I earned that money. These guys didn't win a belt when there's only 110 or 15 of those UFC belts in the whole world ever. There's only 110, 115 people ever had one of those. So you didn't win the belt. You worked your ass off for it for 10 or 20 years, and you earned that belt. So, a comment Hoist Gracie's made numerous times to me and publicly is like, his father would tell him, like, don't celebrate so much. Like, if you did your training well, you're supposed to win. Why are you acting surprised? Why are you jumping up and down all surprised or something? If you did your training well, you were supposed to win. If you did the right things, you were supposed to win. And I'm not trying to be cocky or smug, or I'm just like, all right, like, if you're the type of person that has the emotional temperament that, like, if you're up $500,000 and you think it's time to take a vacation and celebrate, all right, but next week when you're down to a full million, are you going to shoot yourself or something? Like, what's the opposite side of that emotional coin? So no, it's not time for a vacation. The reason I'm up $500,000 some days is because of the shit that I did the last 30 years. And there's some days that I'll post that shit sometimes when we're down 900,000 or some shit. I'll put that on Instagram too. Because, like, I don't even want you to have, like, a false perception of it. Like, if somebody tells you they just make magic money, like, no, they don't. There was a time I was up 4 million and change in a week in, like, January 21, I think, January 2021. I was up maybe 4.5 million that week in, like, 4 days. And, and the next week, there was a day I was down 1.7 million. And I was like, I kind of laughed about it. I was a little more emotional than normal. I wasn't super hyped up about the other thing. I'm like, that's cool. My brain is like, that's cool. I've been working for 20 years to do that. I'm like, that's cool. That's nice. And then next week when I was down, there was some money, million and change. I was like, it's more fun when it goes the other way. But it was just, I'm kind of making a joke with myself, It's like, after having both experiences proximate to each other, it's more fun when it goes that way instead of that way. I tried both recently. That way is more fun. And, if you could make a little joke about it, but continue doing the right things over time, you're not going to be perfect, man. I think another thing I'd love for you guys to take away for the people that I bring here, or for myself, is like, it's okay to things up too. If you could accelerate the ups, but do that in a controlled environment where it's not too costly, then you could really accelerate the wins later. Like, does that make sense? Like, it's only stupid people that are afraid to f things up. Because if you talk to anybody who's significantly successful in any way, they made plenty of ups. I made plenty of ups. None of these guys. Does anybody flinch when they're in the room? Any of the speakers, do they flinch when I say, "Oh, I was a kid and I was in jail"? Does anybody look like, oh my God, I shouldn't be sitting next to this guy? Must be a bad person. Like, what will the media, what will the public think if this got out? Does anybody look uncomfortable being on camera with me when I say something like that? They don't give a. They don't give a. I was 17 years old. Your whole life was. If you grew up how I grew up, you would have up more than I did. You would have had more problems than I did. Like, that's just the truth. And anybody who built a significant company or built a significant career like this or did some really tough shit, they had plenty of problems of their own, man. They had plenty of moments that were embarrassing, or where the public's talking shit about you, or if you don't have some haters, nobody knows who you are. Because as soon as you're doing anything that stands out in a positive way, somebody's going to have an opinion that you're not perfect. You're not perfect. Well, I never said I was perfect. You're not perfect. It makes them feel good about themselves, or it makes them feel less bad to see you being successful. That if any little thing comes up in your life, they'd love to say, you're not perfect.
You watch this video all the way through, and that tells me you're dedicated to learning more and earning far above average outcomes in your life. Congratulations for that. But now it's time to take action. If you could have earned those results by yourself, you would have done it already. My head coach has opened up a few spots on his high-demand calendar for an in-person, one-on-one strategy session to help you. On this call, we'll give you pragmatic advice that you can implement tonight to get laser-focused on the right metrics and leave mediocrity far behind in your past. Click that link right now in the description below and apply for your call immediately. Do it now.